bench today. We got a live one. Probably could have fired it up and got it on here, but that wouldn't have helped out my intro, you know? Whew! What a pig. Here we have a 2000 Honda GL 1500C, the Valkyrie. This one has had quite a few hands inside of it before. No, it's not supercharged. However, this guy, who is apparently pretty well known for the Valkyrie community, has done a tremendous amount of work to the heads on this thing. Apparently it's been poured and polished, decked, higher compression. It's a whole write up on this thing. But ever since the guy has gotten it back, and this is no shade towards them, no shade, it hasn't ran well. This thing's got some frickin' smokestacks on the exhaust with a crossover tube apparently, but let's just hear the way that it runs. That's a no choke startup. That's pretty good. Let's let it warm up a little bit. Slight delay off throttle. Doesn't sound too bad, right? It really doesn't, right? That backfire is pretty hideous. It seems like when I put my hand down, it's coming from this left exhaust, left-hand side. It does have a crossover pipe. I'm curious, you know, if there's any exhaust leak going on underneath there, but I don't think that would cause our lean condition at mid-range is what it kind of seems like. It's off of idle into mid-range is when we get that backfire popping, and it's very consistent. There is a hesitation off of the throttle when you snap it. It's not too bad, but I think he's satisfied with it, but I think he also knows that it could probably be a little bit better, especially when it comes to all that backfire and popping. However, there's also some things that make this a little bit tricky. One, all of the vacuum lines for this bike have been removed. They've gone to a gravity-fed petcock, and all the ports and all of that stuff that hoses run off of from all the intakes and where it all goes, it's gone. So at first I was thinking potential vacuum leak. Doesn't mean that there can't be one still, especially down here by the intakes if the O-rings weren't replaced or something like that. This is obviously all just show. If you guys know Valkyries at all, there is an air box with a filter underneath the tank. That's just kind of how people soup them up a little bit to make them look pretty cool, which it does make them look tough, I'll give them that. But yeah, we need to see what the mixtures are at. We need to see what the spark plug color is as well before we make any decisions on how far we need to go. We might be able to make some adjustments from the outside. We also need to do a carburetor sync on it. I'm very curious as to where that is as well. So I think we should start with spark plugs, see what they look like as it sits right now. Before we get to them, comment below, do you think that they are rich and we're dealing with an afterburn situation, or are they white and we're dealing with a lean situation? I'll tell you, I think lean. 10 points to anybody else who says that. 20 points if it's rich and you guessed rich. Ugh. Got an NGK Iridium plug in this. It's looking a little Casper the Ghost. Same with that cylinder. Cylinder 1 on this right bank is kind of interesting. So we got odd numbers on this side, 1, 3, and 5. Let's go to the other side and see what those look like. Now some of you may be wondering, why would, someone go through all the work of getting this stuff tuned up like this, getting the heads done and some pretty serious stuff, some pretty serious modifications that is not cheap. And then receive a bike back like this and not be satisfied with the way that it runs. Again, I'm not trying to throw shade on any company. It sounds like, from what the owner told me, was that the guy who does this work out there started having some health complications and kind of went downhill from there. He was able to complete the job, but you just never know what someone's really going through, and so I respect that totally. I've definitely been through some hard times myself. And people were very patient with me and were very understanding on certain aspects of my work or this, that, and the other. But our job is to just take the patient for what it is and try to fix the problem so that they can enjoy this bike how it was meant to be enjoyed. And that's without that backfire, I'll tell you that. Okay, so this one we got a little bit different result. This will be our even side. So 6, 4, and 2. Got some black going on that corner. Nothing too crazy to worry about. Black's kind of, when it's like that, can't really point too many fingers, but they still look very lean to me. We don't really have that marshmallow finish that we like. Very clean plugs. From that, I would say that we're still in this lean realm. So from this point forward, let's go and see where our mixtures are at and see where they're set at currently, so we can get a baseline as to what they thought the mixtures would be good to set at for this bike. Trying to do everything we can without having to pull these carburetors apart for this guy. I'm not sure if they set the mixtures back to factory or what they do. I know in the write-up sheet that the guy gave me, they did mess with the carburetors. They did jet it, apparently, with some new main jets. I didn't see anything in the documentation about new idle jets, but they could have punched them out with drill bits. It did say new 6 main jets, and it also said new springs for the what I believe is for the vacuum slide piston. It said 6 interstate springs, so I'm wondering if that meant the interstate model of this bike. They use the springs off of that one, if that's like some kind of trick thing that people do in the Valkyrie world. I've never heard of it, but I wouldn't put it past someone to be able to try something like that. I'm also just a little bit excited because I get to use my new Motion Pro long bit with the D head. So we call this the long D. No, I don't think anybody calls it that. But this fits right into my Motion Pro tool that I like to use. This could just fit right into the head of my adapter. They're like $5, man. That adapter head. I'll put a link in there for you guys if you want, but it gives me just so much more room to mess with this, which I'm pumped about. So let's see where we're at. I'm gonna try my best to, you really gotta feel this sort of thing to know that you're on the mixture head and that you're turning it. It already feels like I'm turning it. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not. So I wanna count. I might need to try this by hand. I'm getting a sense that I'm getting a false reading if I'm turning it or not. I just need to feel when it's on that. That might be it right there. All right, so I think I'm in it. So I usually mark these things right there. All right, so let's start spinning this thing. There's 1, I believe, and I'm kind of stuck right now. That's frustrating. Unless that's all the way seated. Let me get a different tool out. It's another good tool that I have from Honda. They're like 80 bucks, but it has a nice springed head on it. And I use these all the time as well. They're a little bit skinnier. All right, now I'm definitely on it. All right, so we're closed all the way. So I'm just gonna back this out. I'm gonna put it at 3 turns out. There's a chance that they could be sitting at factory setting, which is good, because that means we have some adjustability. 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns. I'm gonna check the second one now, okay, because I didn't really get the best reading on that first one. I know I was kind of ramping up that Motion Pro one, but it's a little thick, actually. So that's why I opted to this one. So all right, let's try this. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 out. All right, interesting. And yep, I'm doing it while the bike's not running because I don't want to burn my hands. So these two, this one might have been at 3. I was just getting a really funky reading on it when I started with it. So let's go back out again. 3. We're gonna do 3 out. So I think that might be where they've been at. 1. Sorry, my head's in the way. I need to be able to see. 3. I mean, they're at 3. 3. So far, so good. That's where I would have set them at if I did the carburetors on it. About 2 1/4 on that one. All right, so let's bring it back out to 3. And now we're gonna bring them all out a half a turn. All in unison. I'm not going 1 carb is this one, 1 carb is that one. We're not playing that game. You don't do that. If you make an adjustment to one, if everything is perfect on the inside of the carburetors, you make the adjustment to all of them. Half out, half out, half out. I don't want to put these shields back on, so I'm gonna get some little spacers so I can properly just make sure these are tight. So far we have taken the spark plugs out, we have turned the mixtures out a half turn to 3.5 out, which would be as far as I would want to take it to see if we get any type of difference in the way that it runs. So let's fire this thing up. While this is running, I'm going to quickly try to go to 4 out. I get a sense that the idle is coming up very little. Not be able to tell, but this idle has increased since we made our adjustments. All right, 4.5 turns out. Up and up and up and up we go. You hear that? The richer we make it, the better it wants to run. Throttle response has definitely improved. Now, I would say that that's 70% better. The problem is that we are at 4.5 turns out, which is too far out. It's too far out because you don't want those mixture screws dropping out of the carburetors while you're running it. But the backfire seemingly almost went away. There's still a little bit there, but it's not what it was at all. That idle RPM picked right on up as we kept going around, doing a half turn at a time, doing it each one. Once I got over to this bank over here and I hit these two, the whole RPM came up. You know, I probably, for the video, I probably could have started a lot lower on the idle to give you guys a reference, but trust me, the idle RPM was increasing when we gave it more fuel. So we need to get into these carburetors and we are going to bump the idle jets up on this. I'm not sure what they're at right now. I think that whoever tuned this was very, very close. And who's to say if the idle circuits have not been a little bit clogged or something like that, you know? But 3 out is what I want to land on. That's what, if I were to get a set of these carburetors in and clean them for someone and send them out, I would set them probably at 3 turns out. So it's not, you know, it's not too far out, but I think it just, this bike wants more fuel. It wants more fuel potentially with what's been done to the heads and that kind of stuff. So we're gonna give it to it. We're gonna bump the idle jets up there. If they're at like factory 35s or 38s or whatever they're supposed to be at, we'll probably go to about a 40. From a 35 to a 40, I would consider that one step up, 5 numbers up. And we're gonna let this thing eat, man. I think it's going to run really, really well off of that. And we'll also do a carb sync on it, just to verify where that is at as well. So a really good diagnosis to figure out do we need to go into the carburetors and clean them, or can we make our adjustment from the outside? And apparently this is kind of the best of both worlds, because we got adjustment changes from our mixture adjustments and we got to go inside. I might be able to get the tank off, get this unbolted. I've dealt with these carbs like this before, you know, but I also need to go in after a fan shroud issue because this fan is rubbing on something. So we might be pulling these carburetors out completely regardless of that. But that's really, really good diagnostic process right there to help hone in on where the problem is. I think it was that idle to mid-range. Mixture screw affects all of that, and I think we got rid of a lot of it. Anybody else, you could probably just send this thing out and be done with it, but where are those mixture screws at? We don't want them that far out. So we want to try to keep them somewhere around 3 turns out would be the best case scenario. So that's what we'll do.